Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about the new upcoming Legion Champion system that just got a lot more information in the Korean test server last night. I'm going to let you know everything that you need to know about this system. We finally have all the details for it, and this system and all of these updates is probably going to come out sometime around June or July for us in Global MapleStory. But you can prepare for it now. I will have a lot of content surrounding this system and how you guys can do it and guides and all that stuff, so don't worry about that. You will find all the information on this channel. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, make sure to subscribe so that you know exactly how everything works and how you can get maximum gains for your characters. There are also other changes that just got announced, which are kind of wild, and we're going to go over all of those too. But the most important thing that they talked about in the Korean test server last night was the new Legion Champion system and how it works. So to start doing Legion Champion, you need to have at least 8,500 Legion and at least one character at level 260. How it works is, to keep it super simple, you have a bunch of really strong characters on your account. They kill a bunch of bosses and you get a bunch of stats for it and buffs that can make you a lot stronger. Like, that's the gist of it. The gist of it is you make a bunch of characters that are really strong and they help empower each other even more. Similar to Legion, how Legion you have a bunch of little characters and then you get stronger. But this, you make a bunch of big characters and they all get stronger. So right now, at the moment, they decided to cap it to 3 Legion champions, and they'll release the 4th, 5th, and 6th slots in the future as time goes on. But right now, only 3 are required to get the current available max buffs. So how it works is you'll notice that different Legion champions have different ranks. Like this one is S, this one's SS, and this one's SSS. And it doesn't have anything to do with the level like how Legion works. It's based off of how many bosses they clear. So there are these symbols on the bottom, and each one of these symbols, you get it by defeating a boss. And what bosses do you have to defeat? These are the bosses that you have to defeat. If you want to get the first rank, if you want to upgrade from like C rank to B rank, you have to defeat Hard Lotus in champion mode. So there's a new difficulty called champion mode, but it's exactly the same as like Hard Lotus. For Vihila, it's exactly the same as Hard Vihila, Hard Black Mage, Hard Saren, and Normal Kalos. So Normal Kalos is the highest one. So there's nothing to be scared of in terms of like what's champion mode. Are there new mechanics? No, there's no new mechanics or anything like that. It's just so that specifically the game knows when you're trying to rank up your champion character or not. You would just do the boss in practice mode. You could do it in practice mode in champion difficulty, and if you clear it, then you're able to get the ability to rank yourself up. Now, why is it so important to kill these bosses? Well, the reason why it's really important to kill the bosses is because depending on your rank, you get different buffs. So if your character is a B character, meaning you haven't killed any of the bosses, you get 20 all stat per character. For example, if we go back here, if these 3 characters, none of them killed anything and they're all B rank, that means you would get plus 60 all stat, which you can see at the bottom here. It says plus 60. And then if you get it to A rank, you get plus 10 attack per character. If you get it to S rank, you get plus 5 boss damage per character. Double S rank, you get plus 3 crit damage per character. And triple S rank, you get plus 5% IED per character. Now it shows here what it would look like if you had 3 maxed out characters. If you did all the bosses, so you get like 60 all stat, 30 attack, 15 boss, 9 crit damage, 15 IED. And then 6 characters, which would be like the future maximum. These are the stats that you would have on those characters only. This does not apply to your whole account. It's on those characters only. So 120 all stat, 60 attack, 30 boss, 18 crit damage, 30 ID, which are pretty big stats. Like, this is a significant amount of damage if you max it out. Now, I want to make something very clear. Obviously, maxing it out is going to be pretty difficult because you're going to need a bunch of characters that can solo up to Normal Kalos, right? But keep in mind that the Normal Kalos one gives IED, which isn't as valuable as the Saren one. So I believe that most people are going to try to go for Saren on their characters first, because Saren giving the crit damage, like, that's a really big buff, versus the IED one isn't as big of a deal. So most people, in terms of the end game, are probably going to go towards Hard Saren. But obviously, if you're just starting out, you're a new player, you don't really have to worry about this, because this is more like end game oriented content or late game oriented content. If you're an early game player, all you have to worry about is trying to finish your Meso drop gear, trying to level up and get your gear up. All of those things would give you more damage than trying to min-max the Legion Champion system. I want to make that very, very clear, because all the time I hear new players wondering how they're going to finish their Legion Champion system in time, which that doesn't necessarily make sense. Like, in time, there's no time frame. It's just a forever system. That's like saying you need to hit 6k Legion by a certain date. It's like, you don't don't have to. You could just do it over time. But yeah, I want to make that clear because I don't want people to feel like they're super pressured to just be like, oh, I have to like stop playing my main and start making a bunch of alternate characters to do Legion Champion. You don't. Like leveling up your main and getting 22-star gear, that will give you more damage than the entire Legion Champion system. So the other thing about the Legion Champion system is there is this monthly champion raid. So how the champion raid works is you choose your champions and you enter a map where you're going to be mobbing and killing bosses with those characters. And depending on how many mobs you kill, how many bosses you clear, the different stages that you go through, you'll get more and more coins. So there are Legion Champion coins, just like how in Legion there's regular Legion coins. Now there are Legion Champion coins, which I'll show you what you could do with in a bit. But how it works is you're in this map and you have your champions, right? You can swap between your champions. It says in and out, and there are a lot of mobs to kill and bosses to kill as well throughout the system. And obviously the more mobs and bosses you kill, the more score you get. And yes, your keybinds will like automatically change. You lose your buffs when you swap, and each character has only a certain amount of time that you can play on them. So you can see at this character over here, it's a little hard to see here. Maybe this makes it easier, but you can see that this character has 2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining. This character has 2 minutes and 34 seconds remaining, and this character has 2 minutes and 33 seconds remaining. So you can't just like be on your main the entire time and just blow up the whole map. You have to be kind of strategic and use each character differently. So like, let's say you have a class that's super good at mobbing and could like blow up the entire map. Maybe you should use that one for the mobbing portion. And then if you have another character that's really, really strong, you could use that for the bossing portion. That way you can optimize your characters and get the most amount of coins possible. You can see there's like big bosses that spawn eventually. They have like the health bar and everything, and the stages get higher and higher, and then you get a bunch of coins. Now, what you can do with the coins is you can craft a custom buff that you can use that costs coins. Now, the thing is, the Legion Champion raid resets every month, so you have to be careful with how many coins you use because you can't get the coins until the next month, the first of every month. This custom buff, the cost of it is based off of how strong you want the buff to be. So if this is a maxed out buff, right? He maxed out everything, which is like 10 boss, 50 all stat, 2.5% crit damage, 25 attack, 10 IED, and 25% EXP, then it would cost 4,000 champion coins. But if you were to, you know, let's say you don't want any of the XP because it's just for bossing, you don't need IED, then the coin cost would be significantly less, and then you could use the buff more often, which I think is pretty cool. You can make a custom buff for exactly what you need in the moment, and this buff is on top of all the other buffs that you get for your Legion Champion, and these Legion Champion buffs are permanent, and then there's another buff on top of that. So this is quite a bit of extra damage that they're adding to the game through the Legion Champion system. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is they announced some other changes. Like, for example, there's like a new Burning Express that came out with like VIP boosters and like the super XP vouchers. Now, obviously, we will probably get these types of events like Burning Express like we have it right now. But I want to make something very clear that these upcoming changes that are announced, we might not get all of them. Like, I feel like we might not get all of them because one of the changes really, really nerfs the heroic world. And previously, Inkwell has not given us stuff that has nerfed the heroic world. Like, we didn't get the Meso cap, still have Ursus, boss crystals are still worth a lot. In fact, he buffed the boss crystals. So I doubt that one of the changes is going to come to us. But just to tell you some of the quick changes, like just to rapid fire some of them, they updated the game from DirectX 9 to DirectX 11. So DirectX 9 is no longer supported on this game. So what that means is the game's going to run a lot smoother. It's going to have better graphics. It's going to have better performance. All that stuff. It's going to be less laggy because now it's on more modern technology, and more modern graphics cards and stuff like that can actually run this game. They actually implemented some new like AI animation features to help make the animations look smoother. Like, you can see here, it looks like it's like a really high refresh rate, which is interesting. Like, I haven't seen Maple look this smooth or high refresh rate before. Now, obviously, it might not come off that way if you're like on a low refresh rate monitor. Maybe you're watching on your phone that's like at 60 hertz. It might look the same, but I'm looking at this on a 240 hertz screen and it looks really smooth, which is pretty interesting. Another thing that they decided to do is they reduced the amount of crystals that you could sell per week from 180 to 90. Now, this is what I'm talking about that I think is ridiculous and I don't think is going to come to our server. Now, the reason I don't think it's going to come, like I said mentioned before, is because this is a huge nerf to the heroic world. Selling half the amount of crystals, for some people, that's like cutting your income in half. Somebody like me, I make around like 30 to 35 bill meso a week just from bossing from all 180 crystals, right? And if it's cut in half, that means it's probably going to be reduced to like 20 bill or something like that, because I would only be able to do the big bosses and sell those only. Now, the problem with this is obviously this hurts newer players and the mid game especially, who has a lot of boss mules. Not everybody likes doing boss mules, as some people really like doing them, and it's a good way for them to get income. So it makes no sense to nerf it for the heroic world. Keep in mind that the Korean MapleStory they don't have heroic, they don't have reboot, so for them it doesn't probably matter as much than it does for us. I could see this definitely not happening for us. If it does, you know, that would suck. Like, I'm not saying that it's not going to happen 100%. I don't work for this company, but I could definitely see a world where we don't get this. So I wouldn't doom. I wouldn't be like, it's over, reboot's dead, I can't prog anymore. Like, none of that stuff. Now, the thing is, even if they reduced it down to 90, that wouldn't necessarily be bad if they increase the prices as well. Like, if they like double or tripled the prices and then they reduced it to 90, then it's like, okay, then you just don't have to do as many boss moves, but you still get a lot more money per week, or the same amount of money at least. But yeah, I don't know, this is a little bit weird. Another thing they announced is link skill transfer cost is removed. So now you can just transfer link skills on as many characters as you want for free, and that's it. It's about time we got this. You could just link skill transfer as many times as you want, and that's it. Like, why can't I use my link skills? Why do I have to pay so many messages to transfer them? No longer do you have to do that. And then the last thing that I want to mention is that guild skill cooldown has been reduced from 1 hour to only 5 minutes. And if you want to repop them, it's no longer 30 mil per, it's 5 mil per. So now G skills, finally, you could just not have to wait a million years to use G skills, which this does help boss moves, because now you don't have to stagger them or anything. You just pop all of them and then they'll be up very shortly after. Now, the thing that they also changed that kind of nerfs it a little bit is you can't use G skills in the middle of a boss anymore. So if you get to pop them outside, you can't use them inside. And then like if you're in a long run like Black Mage, you can't use it again in the middle of the run, which kind of sucks, but like it's all good. Like the 5-minute cooldown and stuff is way better. But that's basically everything for how the Legion Champion system works. Obviously, if you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. I'm of course going to be preparing my Legion Champions live on my stream. Pull up to my stream, you don't want to miss out. And if you got to this part of the video, the very end, so I know that you are a real one and you watched the whole thing, I want you to say, actually, you know what, instead of saying a word, I want you to say which boss that you think you're going to be able to clear up to. So if you think you're going to clear hard Black Mage, then say Black Mage. Anyways, with that all being said though, again, of course, if you have any questions, leave a comment. I do read all the comments. Pull up to the Twitch stream, subscribe if this video helped you out, taught you something new, and so that you don't miss out on upcoming videos. And with that all being said though, have a wonderful day, and I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much to my members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Piconir, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, J, Blunt Poppy Supreme Oil Backwards, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, and Migu. I appreciate you guys so much, and shout out to everyone who submitted fan art. If you always want to submit fan art, it's in the Discord linked below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.